Hi, it's Helen from Nurture Mamas. Today I want to go through, for our Yoga Tips on Tuesday, a few core exercises that you can do whether you're pregnant or not, but they are 100% safe for your pregnancy. When you are on your hands and knees and we go to lift a leg, it's really important that for some women, particularly if you're experiencing pelvic pain, when you go to lift that leg off the floor, you might get a sensation of pain, of twinging, or just discomfort in the front or the back of your pelvis. So if you do feel that twinge or anything, then do not lift your leg off the floor, and I'll show you in a moment what to do. We're going to start on the hands and the knees. I'm on a hard floor here, so I've made a little fold on my mat, or you can use cushions. So we're starting on the hands and knees, shoulders on top of the wrists, knees pretty much underneath the hips, and start with the right leg out and then take the left arm up. So we're going to take a nice big deep breath in, but before we do, we're going to pretty much engage our deep core muscles so that it feels like you're hugging in your tummy, or if you're pregnant, that sensation of giving baby a nice hug. So you're feeling nice and secure. And then when you're ready, we're going to lift up just to hip height. And then exhaling slowly, elbow, knee towards each other. They don't have to touch, and it depends how pregnant you are. So we're inhaling, reaching all the way up. Exhaling, elbow, knee towards each other. Try and think about when you inhale and exhale here that you're on train tracks, so you're not wobbling, feeling like you're wobbling through the pelvis too much. So the stillness will bring lots of core strength. You might only be able to do it 2 or 3 times, or maybe you can aim for maybe 6 to 10 repetitions, and then come down, and then you would do it on the other side. So if you lift the leg and you feel that pinching or the pain or twinge, put it on the floor, but still really engage through the tummy muscles and lifting up the pelvic floor, and then you can just slide the leg in while you're still hugging in your tummy muscles, and just do the arms like that. So that's the first one. The second one, I'm going to go into a seated position. So just coming back. So we're going to start with an easy version and then go on to a slightly more challenging version. So you're just sitting on your sitting bones here and sitting up nice and straight. So I'm going to lean back, but I'm not collapsing into my back. So I'm nice and strong through the back, and I'm again drawing in those tummy muscles. And I'm going to you can have your hands wherever you feel supported, but just remember, try not to collapse the back. So I'm going to start with a single toe tap. So you can do this seated, or I'll show you from lying down in the forearms position as well. So you can bring one foot off the floor and just one at a time, and that might feel enough for you. Or if that feels quite basic, you can do the 2 legs up. So to do the 2 legs, we're going to come down onto our forearms. If you're comfortable, you can lie flat on your back, or you're not pregnant or whatever, you can lie flat down. But just make sure you're not collapsing again here. So you're nice and strong, and there's Nico. Nice and strong and open through the chest. And again, hug in the baby, or hug in your tummy muscles, and bring your knee just on top of your hips. So you can do the single toe tap this way, but don't bring the knee closer in, so it's just on top of your hip. You would do, that's the single toe tap, but then to do the double toe tap, it's much more challenging. So just make sure that your lower back isn't arching like this. Hello? The lid's broken. Oh no. Let me fix it.
Oh no.
Oh no. There you go. So we're going to do double toe tap. You would really hug in through your tummy and bring your 2 knees on top of your hips, and then extend the toes to the floor. Hello, are you joining me? Oh my goodness. Nico likes to make it a lot more challenging. So, toes up. Hello. So you're bringing your knees just on top of your hips. Again, not in closer. And what will happen, you might find a couple of things, is that your lower back might arch up like that, which is not what you want, because then you're not using your core muscles. Your legs up, okay. But what might happen if you're pregnant, legs up. But what might happen when you're pregnant that you don't want is that you're doming, so it feels like your tummy is almost like pointing. So what you want to avoid is that doming or pointing of the tummy if you're pregnant. So if you find that your tummy muscles are doming up like this, just try and first of all pause, and then hug in again, like reset your core and then you'd start off again. So just the two things you have to watch out for is that arching the lower back and that pointing of your pregnant bump if you're pregnant. Okay, so just to recap, you bring your toes towards the floor and knees directly on top of your hips. Okay, that's the double toe tap. Nico, what have you put in the microwave?
Daddy!
No, don't put the ducky in the microwave, it explodes. Okay, so the next one we want to do is a side plank. So the side plank I'm going to do from the knees. So for your side plank, you can come onto your elbow, your shoulder on top of your elbow, and then on the knees. So again, if you are pregnant, this is a really good one because it's now it's hard work, but it's a really easier, well, it's an easier one to do when you're pregnant and you don't have to obviously mind your belly. So what you do is you can use the top hand to support you if you want to, or bring it onto your hip. And then basically you would again draw in your tummy muscles to start to switch on that core, and then lift up. You can hold for a couple of seconds or pulse. You know, pulsing up and down. Really just depends on how strong you're feeling. You will feel some strength building and heat building in your shoulder, so you can pump the hips like that. Again, really accessible would be the word for pregnancy if you're using. And then you would just do that on both sides. So the last one I want to do is show you is a bridge pose or pelvic tilt. So this is really good at, again, your core isn't just your tummy muscles, it's your pelvic floor, your back, and it's the whole canister. But if you are pregnant and you don't want to lie flat on the ground, you can use a couple of folded blankets or cushions or pillows. And you can just elevate just a little bit if you feel more comfortable, the upper part of the body around the shoulders and the head, and just lifting it up. But we're not going to be staying here. If you do have a lot of elevation here underneath your head and shoulders, you're not going to be that comfortable lifting your hips too high because it'll feel kind of like you're squashed a bit. So you would come down slowly onto your back. And again, you could do this when you're not pregnant, just lie flat. So you could also have something in between your knees just to hold, just to grip. Okay, come on down. So if you have an extra weight, like a kettlebell, or a child, you can do this one. Yes, hold on. If you're pregnant, you already have a weight. So knees pointed to the ceiling, you're going to have something in between your knees maybe. It could be something like a shoe, a yoga block, a folded cushion, a toilet roll. And then we're going to have the knees pointing straight to the ceiling. Now, lift up your pelvic floor, hug in your tummy muscles, and then we're going to start to lift up and down. Are you getting off? Up and down, like this. So you're lifting your hips up and down. Okay, come over this way. So you're lifting your hips up towards the sky, and you can, again, if you have something in between the knees, you can grab. Oh, you have a car, do you? Okay. The car will go, okay. Okay, or you could just use a car. So we're going to lift the hips up and down, and you're you're slightly squeezing the knees towards each other. It just turns on those adductor muscles. So you're lifting the hips up and down. Really simple, but amazing for pre or postnatal for strength. And then just to get up, just come onto your side, particularly if you're pregnant. So I hope you enjoyed that with Nico and I. I'll do another few videos just specifically for bridge pose and the different alterations, the different variations that you can do. And I'll see you soon.